What if you don't like where the reference shows up by default in ProPresenter? Is there a way to do that even when you put the reference with the verse? Well, actually there is. So stick around and I'll show you how to do it. Presented by Church Tech U, it's the ProPresenter show. On today's show, how to change the formatting of the reference to make it not like it is by default in ProPresenter. Hi and welcome again to the ProPresenter show. This is the show where I teach all about ProPresenter. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. And before we get started, if this has ever been something that you've wanted to do, this actually did come to me as a question, then tell me about it in the comments field below. Like, subscribe, etc. while you're at it. So, this did come to me as a question, and it was actually at one of my in-person classes. The person said, oh yeah, I can make it do it, but it's extra work. Is there a way to automatically do it? So let me show you what I mean, and then we'll go from there. So here we are in ProPresenter, and if we go to Bible mode here, and I change the option here from actually, let's change it here to with the verse. Okay, you'll notice that when I do that, it puts it at the end here, which in the situation that we were dealing with, the person wanted it to be actually centered. So how could I do that? Well, let's head over to here, theme editor, and right there. And now we're going to go and select, let's just do this regular one, single translation normal, okay? And we can ignore this one down here, this text box, because we're going to include that in here. But how could we make it to where this would always work together? Well, first off, just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to scale this up. So just to make sure that it kind of fills in that space. So text scaling here, first off I need to change this to none. I think that was maybe part of why it didn't go down to the next line. In fact, let me check that right here, because let's go here to options and reselect that theme. Yeah, there you go. That's what it was. Okay, so this is what I expected it to do, but since that theme had the remove line returns, that was there. So he wanted it not there, but in the middle. So going back here to theme editor, select this, and let's leave scaling off right now because no need for that. One thing you could do is scale text down, and then if you had a situation where the text was too big, it would squish it down. I don't like doing that because I don't like the lack of control. It just kind of makes it fit, and I would rather have that control, but that's just me. You do whatever works for you. So what you can do is, first off, I'm going to duplicate this. So right click, duplicate, and I'm going to move this out of the way, and that should give ProPresenter somewhere to actually think that it's putting the text. Now for this one, I'm going to select it, and then down here in the lower right hand corner, select linked text, and we want to go to slide object and text, which is the first one. No, actually the second one. Slide object. Oh, that is the, so yeah, the first one. Sorry about that. There we go. That's what we want to do. So basically, ProPresenter will automatically put the text here, but then we're going to link it to here. And I'm going to show you why we're going to do that here in just a second. So let's go back over here to Bible mode. And now let's go here to options and select that same theme again. Okay, and now you'll notice that when we did that, we get this outline right here. Now what happens when I click on it? So that's not showing up. I know what's going on. Doesn't have the best internet, but you want to live stream, you can live stream at 720p while it separates it from some of the other competitors. But you might be curious. Yeah, so let's select this one, which is the one that we hit it there, and notice it's already done it. So now it put that in the center. So let me talk about what's going on here, because this may seem a little confusing to you. A lot of people use linked text in their themes, and I tell people, do not use that unless you know what you're doing, because otherwise bad things can happen. So I'll talk about real quick what I did to combat that bad thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but and then we'll look at it a little bit more. So going back to our theme editor here, remember that this first text box still exists, it's just dragged off down here. And so what is happening is that the text is going here by default, and then that text is linked from down here where we can't see it into here. One of the things that linked text does is it strips out some formatting. So the way I think about it is, in this situation, there was special formatting because this is Bible, a Bible verse, that took the reference and it stuck it in the center. Well, the linked text stripped out that special formatting and left it the way that the rest of the text was. Now, I could have reformatted the rest of the text so that it was left justified or right justified or whatever, and the reference would have followed along with it. But from the perspective of ProPresenter, once you apply the linked text field there, it just treats it all like text in general, and then it just applies whatever formatting you have applied to the linked text box. So that's kind of what we've got going on right there. So I know that this can be a little confusing, and if you'd like a quick guide on this, just by all means, what I would do is I would head on over to, if I can find the, there it is, the button. I would head on over to tdm.fyi/progifts2606. So I'm recording this in June of 2026, so that's why 26/2026, 06, the month of June. So head over there and get the cheat sheet that I'm going to make for you, just giving you every step so that you don't miss any of them and you don't have to watch this video over and over and over again. Not that I'm against you watching it over and over again. You do you, whatever works for you. I just know that some people prefer step-by-step instructions, some people prefer videos. That way, either way, you're golden. Okay, until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford from TrinityDigitalMedia.com and ChurchTechU.com, reminding you to go out and change eternity.